Hey, we're live. I haven't been at this for the last few days. I'm trying to actually do every day, but that's proving very difficult. Even every other day is very difficult because I'm old now. That's it's very tiring. I tell all the kids, I tell all the young programmers never to get old. It's good advice. Okay, so today I'm trying to think about what we can do, which direction I can take this. Um, we've done a lot of work on the back end, and I was planning on doing something on the back end as well, along the lines of making this by default, in a sense, not by default, but being able to use a generator to generate um, the basic CRUD files with sorting and filtering and pagination all built in. So that's what I wanted to work on. But I kind of want to change directions today and work a bit on the front end just to mix things up. Um, and so we have something more relevant on the front end that we can reference. And then we can test out sort of the pagination, filtering, and sorting in the UI. And partially, I think my inclination to do this, my gut feeling to start working on that part now is because I want to test it out. I've sort of just been on the front end, just making calls here and testing here. This could have very easily been done in some back end test library as well, but I haven't played around with it in the front end as it would be used, and so things might change yet on the back end before I go and make a whole bunch of changes otherwise. So I want to start building out a client front end, make it a form. First, I'll just work on basic CRUD stuff, and then I'll try and automate it in a way that you just sort of pass an Azad object to a form, or just to a you pass an Azad object to a not to a form, but to a component, and and you kind of automatically get CRUD operations. Okay, before I get into that, there's still some backend work yet to be done. Um, and um, that's relating to um, I want to use Faker. I want to use Faker to get this on the system. So let's do that. We just have some issues here. Let me clear that out. Um, Let me just fix some things. I'm actually just like making sure my Slack window isn't visible on stream. Okay. Okay, great. So, Faker. I know there was like a whole thing with the Faker community where the original creator and maintainer uh, took it away. And so this is what we have now. Let, let's add this into our project on the backend side. And then I'm going to use this on the seed side so I can create maybe just 100 posts straight up right away. And let's see what Faker gives us. So I can get a name, get email. All right, so I guess I could just lorem ipsum it, right? So words, lorem. I'm just going through this because I haven't really used Faker on the JavaScript side. I had used it on the Ruby side years ago. And so I'm just trying to see what's available. This is great. Sorry. This is actually pretty cool. I'm like, adjective? What? Oh, something slimy, muddy. Oh, it's fantastic. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Um, I wonder if that's something like just okay. We'll just use this, right? So we'll use paragraphs. We'll just every blog post might have. We might even just make it a random number of paragraphs. We might fix it. Okay. Default is 3. That's fine. This is fine. Sentence can be a title. What else do we have here? Paragraphs, sentences, lines. Okay, so just like individual lines. Slug. Cool, very nice. Text. Okay. Just any lorem word. Okay, let's use this. So sentence. What's the difference between lines and sentences? Sentences are the same line, but lines is individual sentences, each one on its own line. Okay. Yeah, let's just get a random sentence. And this can go in our title, and we can just do a whole bunch of these. I keep looking this up, like a nice way of creating a JavaScript range method. And I keep forgetting it's passing. So it's just using the keys of an array. That's good enough for me. And so let's just make this 100. Bring this in here. And oh yeah, okay. You know what? I'm just so my life is simple. I don't want to await a promise here. I'm just going to use 4, which might be frowned upon in some circles and communities, but I don't care. Okay, so I could probably get rid of the ID and have it be auto-generated. I actually don't need that, and the title can be, there we go, finally, whoops, not there we go. Here, finally this. And where is the import from? It's not like Faker from Faker, it's Faker from Faker.js. Okay, so I got my lorem sentence, and this can be lorem paragraphs. Okay, I think that's all I need. I don't really need an index even, so I can just underscore that. And that should be good enough for me to run the seeds again. Okay, and I believe on the front end, this should grab like 20 of them by default or something like that, or all of them. This total is 200, but I'm only getting 2 of them, probably because I limited it on the front end. So if I go into front tRPC, yeah, I limited page size and page number. So if I We can sort by title. And now I get 20 by default. Cool. And now we could start using our tRPC function calls on the front end for more useful things than just console.log. Let's build out some kind of a UI. Do I have a router? I don't have a front end router. Okay, so I guess in my Vue template, I don't have a Vue router, which I don't think I really need for most of the things I'm going to start doing today, but we might need that eventually. I'm going to make this a bit larger, and let's see. Yeah, for now I could just play in my app view. I don't have to worry too much about what goes where just for now. And here maybe I can start building out a table and listing out listing things out. So I'm going to go into, I'm going to make my life easy for myself. Just going to copy an example table here and start with that. And I will be I think there's at least some styles here that that aren't present in this HTML. That's fine. And so we have a super basic generic table. I'm going to do a few things here. Oops, MX auto. Get that centered. And then I really don't like this. And let's just give it some breathing room. And I believe in Tailwind that can be done through I don't know if it's how do people style their tables in Tailwind? Tailwind UI. I don't want to use any of that on stream. Just want to see how people are spacing their tables. Okay, so I am gonna have to do this for each individual row and column. Not a big fan. But let me get maybe some of these things here. Yeah, I like this for the head. Whose code am I copying here? We've launched load by blocks featuring over 150 website controls. And I'm just gonna quickly take a look at what this is. Like, what is flow by? Before I just, on top of table CSS, sounds great. Open source library, okay, fantastic. Okay, I guess okay, amazing. Flowbyte.com. Enough pricing as well. Community edition is free, fantastic. There's some companies. Okay, cool. What don't you get? You don't get application UI, marketing UI, Flowbytes. Okay, I actually am. I do have Tailwind UI, but I don't want to reference that or use that here for the stream because I don't think that's I'm assuming it's probably discouraged. But I don't know if something like this would be just fine since it is open source and like if their components are good, that's actually really an investment worth making as well. So something for me to consider. So I'm glad I ran into that. Having that said, let's copy their tables. What's wrong here? What did I do? Ah, okay, that's the header. Nope, I wanted this to be normal size. I'm gonna just up that a few sizes. I'm gonna make this larger again just for legibility on the stream here. And then I think just so it's simplified here for me, I'm gonna style the table here. We can deal with it here. Okay, let's go back to the table. And the THs and the TDs have spacing. TH is this. I mean, this isn't, yeah, this isn't super complicated here. Just some padding, which, I mean, just this bit I probably wouldn't have sort of, yeah, I mean, I think everything here I would have just done on my own as well. But some of the complex UI elements I would not have. So it's actually nice where it makes the simple things immediately available and makes the harder things also immediately available. And I notice now that this pagination here, which I'm going to get into very soon, hopefully. So that'll be really cool. So let's get the spacing here and see that it applies. I'm going to scope this so that it's not applied once I move this into its own component, so it's not applied everywhere. That's better, some spacing. And what I'll do is I do want to get some indication. Is there a divide on the table? No divide on the table. I do see these lines, and I wonder if they just placed them on the... Okay, there you go. Yeah, let me get some of this. Oh, so something actually the divides aren't even on the table. But I know that they're useful there. So, that's super interesting. I'd rather just use divide here, and let me just see where I go. It's probably in the head, right? In the body, sorry. So T body, I believe I can say something like this, and then every element there should have a, and it does, is super faint here. Let me just make that a bit more visible. Or, maybe just a lot more visible. Too much. Okay, that's better. Now we have a nice looking table, and now I can start to build it out. Why is this giving me grief? So I'm gonna get rid of this. Invalid tailwind class names order. Okay, just fix it for me. No, not gonna do that. So I'm gonna ignore that for now. It doesn't like the ordering there. Okay, so all we've really done is just spaced it out and added a background. Dark mode too. Very nice. Gonna make this a little bit more apparent. Okay, great. Everything's on a white background, which kind of messes things up a little. So I just want to maybe give this whole thing a border 100. feels better to me. I should make it a bit darker. Well, this is annoying. This is fine. I do want it to be more visible. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just hard code it initially to post, and then maybe as a next step, I could try and use the Jazad object to extract it. So here we'll get to our tRPC calls. So I'm going to get rid of this section in a second. What I want to do is I want to export proxy, but maybe I could just call it tRPC. And then I can just import tRPC in my thing here, and then I can, make calls. So these are the posts. Let me just grab that. And let's tRPC. Still don't like that I don't have import setup. And all this is going to change really at some point. Huh. I'm wondering whether that I was working async this, and then let's just call load up here. And here, okay, why is this still /tRPC and f? Am I not in the same? I am in the same directory. app.vue is in the same directory as tRPC, and I have now exported here. So I wonder why it doesn't like it. Reloading, and it still doesn't like it. So I'm going to leave that there for a second. Let's just see if that is working, and it is, because I've commented it out in the other place, and I only have it here now. So this just might be a setup issue with my stuff here. So something I gotta fix later. Alongside this, I gotta fix that later too. So post will have an ID, a title, and a body, which that's fine. That'll be placed here as well. And this can be a v4 with a key, and the key will just be post.id, and this will be post of posts. And I'll make this a ref, and it won't be there, and then it will, and then yeah, this can be body, get rid of that, and we can get rid of those. And if I did put the classes directly on here, it wouldn't be that big a deal, but this is fine. And let's make posts a ref. From Vue, and it will just be an empty array to start. Oops. And then here we'll actually just say post.value, and we're good to go. Okay. Looks good to me, apart from the sort of the typing issues here, but we'll get to those later. It looked good to me, but I guess not. Load calling. So let's just log this. So I got an impl here, and the value should be an array with stuff in it. Okay, so right, of course, so it's dot results. So I forgot to do dot results. So that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Let me just say data here and then data dot results. Can be here. And now I should get the data shown up here. Fantastic. Let me just add a bit of padding to the page itself. So we don't end up just kissing. All right, fantastic. So here I'm just loading the data and displaying it. And maybe I will go hard-coded into creating and editing and deleting, creating and deleting to start, and then editing. And I guess we could take it from there. So I'm going to forget this. I'm going to bookmark that. Maybe up top here, we can just create a simple create table for our create thing for our posts and go from there, like a form. So in order to get a form, I will need to, I want to use my fab form library. So let's do that. Okay. Get into the front end here. And I believe I had a yarn link. Yep. So I should be able to do this. And now my node modules has a has a lot of things in it, of course. And that is there. I do feel like I need to place it here as well. I'm just trying to think back to what it was. Fab package objection, so version 1. Okay, that's should probably change that to fab components. I don't think I have to, but okay. Fab components, and let's change this to 1.0.0. So sometimes this menu that shows up, unfortunately, this here is just this helper for Vim commands, but the timeout on it is pretty quick. So like sometimes I'll type, or like I'll be in the middle of a command and I'll be like, what do I want to do? And this will pop up. And I don't really want it to. See, right now it was right in the middle of the command as well. Okay. Later queue is for quick fix, location list. Huh. Yeah, location list. Set. I wonder where that's from. That's fine. Okay, let's see if that worked and I'm able to get my components in here. I probably want to restart the server. And now I should be able to import like a fab input. Fab input from fab components and just place it over here. Give it a name, maybe a title, and see whether it just shows up. Okay, cool. This we is here because I probably didn't do cleanup from the last time I was working on it. So yeah, that's a problem when you search for we. Why is node modules in my search? Because did I never get in it? Okay. Am I in the wrong fab test? Form play? Is form play my actual fab? I don't think so. Oh, this is it. This is my real one. So what was the other one? Okay, let's just get rid of the we here. There is no we here either. Really, I'm just gonna have like the toughest time finding the we. Okay, well, I can work my way backwards here. So, for example, if let's go back here, go to our modules, that's that L. Let's find out where this is pointing. All right, config yarn link fab components. So let's go into .config yarn link, and let's see where this is linking. Form play front end, so I was in the right place. So let's go back. And leave. No. Fab input. Label. Did I change it? Do I need to relink? Do I need to rebuild? Maybe I need to build here. Yeah, build. Maybe I removed the we and I didn't build. And so now once I build here and update over there, I should get it. Although now, see, this is not what I wanted. This is not. You know what? I'm just going to get rid of it from here in the code. You know why? Because I can. And because I don't care. Fab components, yes. And so I can just delete that. And then this is terrible. I know. Fab components. UMD. This is I didn't know, okay? Give me a break. Okay, so we've gotten rid of the we. And now if I come over here, restart my server, and here, I can just probably exit here. Save. I shouldn't have no we here. That was a lot of work for a lot of nothing. I apologize. And now I can maybe start making up my fab form and maybe looking at some of the code for this. Yeah, it's not going to be auto included, so I'm going to have to. What's the deal here? I need to pass it something. Does not provide an exported name fab form. Oh, you know what? The last time I was working on this library, I probably didn't export all the components. And so I probably just for super quick testing purposes exported only a few components. So now I'm going to have to actually fix the issues in that library before I can move on here. So let's actually do real work. Okay, so in input, in event.target. Okay, I'm just gonna Google this to see what class or what type that should be. Somebody will say, hey, this should be the HTML text area element. So just so now I know, I'm assuming there might be, actually once I get in there, so I'll start in text area with that, and then once I get that, then I can work on text input. The value is just here. I'm not doing anything with it anywhere. So it's kind of weird. That is super weird. And I wonder if there was a better way. Like, this is a text area, and I wish that Vue knew that the target for it would be a text area as well. Okay. So that takes care of that. Let me go to the definitions here and then see if there's like an HTML input. So there is HTML input element, and let me just copy that, and let's get back to fab input, and this can become my input element. Okay, and then let me build again, and well, let's see, checkbox, toggle. Okay, and those are both the same. So oops. I'm just gonna go back in here again and see just where it's at. HTML. Oh, it should just be an input, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay. I don't know why, for some reason, I thought it might be something else. Right, indeterminate. That's just on input element. So let's go back. And I'm realizing that I might not have properly done this in fab input. So let me just make sure I did. I didn't. Yep, I did not. So let's correct that. And let's go into toggle. And let's fix that here as well. I think this should have been add checked, maybe. But I believe we did get this working anyway, so I'm not going to fret over it too much now. Ugh. Input. Okay. All right, let's see. Will it build? Fantastic. And then let me take a look here to see what we exported. Okay, so we just exported 2 of the components. Let me just do all of them here. That's fine. So I got, let me go from the top, right? Fab button. Sorry, you have to see this. Fab checkbox already here. Fab field. I don't think I need to do that. That's a base thing. Fab form. All right, this won't take too long. Fab hidden, not really. I don't think that needs to be there for now. Fab input. Fab label, yes. And fab multi-select, yes. Fab select to follow, no. Fab select to follow, yes. Okay, and fab slider. And fab text area. And fab toggle. Fab input, I thought that belonged right before the label. So let's put it here. And then okay, it's defined best value. So I need to actually put all these in here. Just get rid of that. And then, oops, yeah, get rid of that. And then let me just remove space dot star. Just dot star from there and replace that with a comma. And then I should be able to just surround all of that with this, and then get this out here, and then that should be good. Okay, now probably I'll just do one by one as I do it. Let's build this fellow here. And then we'll have to restart our server on the other side, and that should be good. And there'll probably be changes I need to make back and forth, I assume, and I probably will have to figure out a better workflow than this. Or I might have to jump back and forth, right? Yeah, maybe. Okay, it still is not finding fab form. I might have to do a yarn for it to... No, I should not have to do a yarn. Actually, let me not do a yarn. And let's see if the front end just works, and it's just a matter of... Front end does not just work. Require is not defined. Well, this is a bigger... issue than I had hoped. Require is not defined. Validate. Require is not defined. Okay. I'm looking for a very specific area because it seems like I think I've seen this before. No. This is frustrating. Let's just think about it. Maybe I could copy the whole thing. Oh, you gotta do better than this. Come on, Google. I could have sworn I saw this on the vValidate. What else am I using in my form that would cause this? We should be actually be able to find out by looking into yarn.lock, right? So I can look into yarn.lock and I can say calf.calf. Here it is, calf at 13. Oops, at 13. That's annoying. Calf. No. You want to find something like this where it's like dependencies calf space. There you go. Vue concurrency was the library. .vValidate. Okay, good. Vue concurrency. There's probably some issues here. Perfect. Just trying to see at the bottom if there's any resolution. So work, at least a broken test. Okay, so let's see what version of Vue concurrency we're using and roll back to a different one. Okay, we're using, all right, it's right here. We're using 230, which makes sense because the 230 failed. And so let's take a look at the tags. 4007, which brings us into different territory. Maybe I want to roll back to an older version, 221. 221 it is. Package.json, currency 2.2.1, yarn. I did see calf quickly flash there. Yarn build, and then we'll go back here and we'll restart our server. Come on. Okay. That is a super slow process. It's got to be a faster way of. I haven't done like pure library development in JavaScript / TypeScript before, and so there's got to be a better way of doing that. And in Rails, you could just like point the gem to a directory. I'm assuming that will still work here. I wonder if that will still work because of TypeScript and this and that. But let's see. Okay, but for now, all right, so I am getting this. Let's see if the form tag appears here, and it does. Okay, that's good, because then that means this component is being imported. Let me just reload here and see if it recognizes fab form, and I believe it has now. I don't feel good about that because I feel like I should not need a restart for that to work. No worries. I don't want a white background, so let me just make this BG slate 100. Let's get rid of that. And that's fine, but I'll just make my table bg white by default. And so we get something like this. Maybe I can make my background a bit lighter. Good enough. Let's start making out this form. I don't love how this looks. So it seems like the styling hasn't, it's almost as if the styling wasn't pulled over. I remember styling these, right? There's like a rounded border and class and all of these things. So why am I not getting those? That 100% is frustrating. I feel like I spent some time doing this. Just trying to think of why that might be. But also I'm thinking I spent a lot of time just getting the library set up. And I don't want to spend too much more time on that. But really, like, classes are here, right? Like I see them right here. So, and I have, rounded MD is border gray. Yeah, this is not a border gray. The width is not full. There's no MB4. What? What? Why? And I wonder if this happened when I was doing my fab test. Yeah, let me go take a look at my fab test. I think I have to import the CSS separately. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Sorry, okay. I mean, it's not, not the end of the world. I'm just surprised that that the CSS wouldn't apply automatically. So I have to do something like this. And I'm surprised by that because I would have thought I don't need to. Okay, well. I don't need to do this because I'll just be imported wherever it needs to be imported. There we go. Now the styles are there. That's really weird. Okay, so let's get back to it. Form, app view. Let's just make this half the width so it doesn't take up the full. Does it not? Doesn't care, like. Okay, there you go. Sorry. Half width, and let's add a text area. Let's add it here. So good. Title and body, and that's really all I need. And I need a fab button to submit. And let's add that. I do want to figure out something so this happens automatically. Okay. Cool. So we get a form going fairly quickly. I mean, okay, fine. It's not fairly quickly, but it's fairly quickly when after you after you do everything else. It's fairly quick. Okay. I like my buttons on this side. Great. And on submit, I'll just call this create. And I can have a function create here where I take in values, and let's just log them out to make sure at least this portion is functioning properly. Seems like it. Okay, fantastic. So what we want is we want to submit, and it should then appear here. What we'll do is we'll we won't make it very complicated. We'll just simplify things. So we'll just reload the posts that are there on the page that we're at, and then I'll just sort by ID descending, so we see the latest one up top. So visually, it's easy for us to see. And so we see 101 up top. Fantastic. And yeah, let's go. I think I had a create here as well. It should no longer be photo, but I'm doing something like tRPC. Create, this can be async. I don't really need the value right now. And I want to mutate. So title and body are coming in from here. And I could just values this because title and body are straight up the values that it takes. Okay. Because this is not giving me any errors because this is implicit any, but if I did something like, empty object, this would have errors. I am just going to any this for now because what will happen later is that this will become this, and this will become, we'll infer it. We'll infer the type from the Zod object. So we don't have to get everything perfect right now. Okay, and after this, we just want to load again. We want to reload. So I'll run load here. I'll await it. Why not? And then I want to reset form, which I can grab here because that's passed in by vValidate. And reset form will happen here. So if everything is successful, my form should be reset. And it doesn't like this because that should not be happening, but actually should be happening. And we'll have to find a way of typing that, which we'll do later. So I should be able to do hello there, submit, and nothing happens. Reset form didn't come through. And it might be the case that I'm not passing it in from my form library. So let me just double check. Yeah, it doesn't seem like I am. Um, I should be able to do something like this. And if I'm not, I'll figure it out. And now it doesn't matter. And hopefully this works. If it doesn't, then I'll just, I'll just give up. And I can't do values any and then do this here. So let's fix that. Right when I was on the verge of just giving up, Okay. Let's just not even care about it. Who cares? It cares. So let me any this for now as well. I know this is not good, but again, I just want this part to work, and then if it works, once we figure it out, then we can start fixing that, many months later. That cycle is just horrendous. Let's see if reset form is coming through now. And it is now, so that's all that is working now. I just, I'm not really gone to the completion of that form library. That's kind of part of it. As I'm using the library, I'm going to still build it. So these are all related tasks here. This is night, so I can say hello. I ate lunch today. Just like my blog. Okay, that's fantastic. So we have, we're displaying a table. We're doing this basic form here. And then I think I'm going to move on to pagination first. And then right after pagination, take a look at editing on the side here. Okay. So let's commit what we have now. Change. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we seeded stuff. This is fine. Added components. So we added the component without importing it. And what it's doing here is, for whatever reason, it's FA-B form because it thinks it's an icon, font awesome icon called B form. So we actually don't want to update that. And this should be untouched. It seems like it is changed because I manually saved it. So I'm just going to undo any changes there. Fab components is what we added. Yes. And changed up the app view by loading the posts and importing styles from my fab components library. We can actually just get rid of this now because everything in here, apart from querying individual posts, so I'm going to just leave that there for a second until I copy that code out. Not that I can't, not that I don't know it. I just want to make life easier for myself. And then we'll say adding view posts table and create form. Okay, exciting times. Okay. So let's see if I can't get pagination going. and that will be all adjust, having maybe some total up here and showing it what we're displaying as well. So let me just think about that for a second. We know what the per page and what page we're on because we send that information over. We have the total, and so we should be able to determine where we are in the cycle. So that should be fine. And I'm curious to look at the pagination components here. Yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, I will do this. And I'm realizing I do need Vue Router for managing the URL, parsing everything and everything else. So I am going to pull that in. This can be right at the corner of the table, top corner, and maybe on this side I'll show the totals. Or maybe don't even need to show the totals, just have this. Pagination with icons, okay. Previous, next, yeah, these are just buttons. Yep. We have this nice little this thing here showing, blah of blah. I like this without icons for now, and we'll just copy that wholesale. Let me just see how long we've been working here. Okay, just about an hour. So maybe I'll do pagination and maybe insta delete. Maybe, let's see. Because I don't want to do modals just yet. I do want to do modals, but I want to do modals as part of the form library. And so for that, maybe I just need to figure out a better working pattern to and from the form library, because this is just like, this is not cutting it. Even pagination, like I'm going to put the pagination stuff here, but I want this to be a component in the components library, so that I don't have to mess with the stuff, and I can reuse it over and over. Sweet. And I'm noticing that HMR is not working again. So some things are, just they're not good. Yeah, it's not HMR. It's I can't read, because HMR is working just fine. Let's just give it more space. Okay, that looks good. And the idea being that you should be able to, let's fill this in with proper information. So I don't need Vue Router to get the query information here in the URL for now, because I can still get this working, right? If my per page is 10 and I have 100 posts, I should see 10, 11 pages for 103, something like that. And this is where this comes in handy, because we did have a total. Just be 0 for now, and here we'll actually here total.value is data.total, and then I can just have computed values based on the total for the number of pages, this and that. So I can say number of pages is a computed function with, so I'm going to take the total value. I need to have a per page, a page number and a per page as well. So let's do that up here. Per page, and let's make this 10 and page number. And default to 1. I've forgotten already what it was called on the server side. So, oops, post routes, and I think it's page number, page colon number, page size. Yeah. So this one's got page size. I believe it's page size, so let's just make sure. Yeah, size. Okay, we got page number and page size, and number of pages then is total divided by page size. And I want to math the dot seal that. And we have to use dot values here. Okay, so I have my total number of pages, which means this can be a loop. And there's some specific settings on page number 3, I believe, because it's, or there's fewer, it seems, because border gray, BG blue 50, text blue. So the text is different, so that's fine. We'll just keep this in the loop, but we'll just put it at the end, and then I can flip that. That copy paste did not go right. And what I'll do is I'll just get rid of everything before this. Nope, I can't do that. Everything, almost everything before this. So page number 5 will be our prototype. And this can be v-4. I think I can do something like index in number of pages. Key is index. And then here we can say index. And let's just see if that works, first of all. So that does, our page number 3 is at the end here. Perfect. And obviously at some point we'll want to just like maybe display the last couple, the first couple, and then these can be just like a dot, dot, dot in between. But I'm not going to worry too much about that. Let's show the current one. So let's bring these styles into the current page, which will be page number. So I can say something like class, right, will be something if page number is equal to index. And then that can be BG blue 50, for example. And otherwise, let's do the opposite. It's just BG white. And let me just get rid of BG white from here. And so now we have that business showing here, and the text color can change as well. So let me just get those values. Text blue 600 is what they want here. I don't think I'm going to change too much of the rest of it. Text gray 500 and text blue 600. And let's get rid of this here. And the rest of it, I think I'm just going to keep the same. This shouldn't be, clickable or whatever, but no big deal. not gonna fret about that. Yeah, this hover is not the same as this, but I'm not too worried about that right now. You know what? While we're here, why not? Why not? Let's just go for it. So it's this, this, and this, and you know what? The darker version, I'm not gonna worry about. So there's the. Nope, that's not where I want it. I want it here, and then hover. Yep. Okay, that looks good to me. Yep, now we're getting this feel, and we can get rid of this, which is just this over here. Okay, cool. So we have this, and again, I'll make these dot 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 for in between. So let's get Vue router in here. Should have clicked on installation, but huh. What? If I do a pure yarn, yarn link, yarn, well, that's annoying. That's weird. Okay, I'm just gonna brush by that for now. By doing this for now. By pretending to not have it there. It is there. And just add Vue router and I'll plug it back in. Yes, not ideal, but also not what I want to focus on right now. Let's restart here. Make sure everything is good. Let's make sure that the form and everything still works because we are getting this from the component library. Not loving that that jump. Look at that. So we'll only show that because it's showing that jump is happening because so let's go to the nav and let's just say v if number of pages, and now we shouldn't get like a huge jump. It should just not be there and then be there. Although the ID, title, and body, all of that stuff is bugging me. So I should do something similar with the table. I think number of pages, because the total starts at 0. So v dash if we do total as well. Right, and now I'm not seeing that jump from here to here. It's not there, and it is, and it's super fast because everything is local. There's not a lot of data being loaded. Okay. Vue router. Let's just continue with the setup. I'm going to need to create the router and plug it in here. I believe that yeah, I actually don't know. I don't know whether app view takes precedence over all of this. I don't have an indication here that it's otherwise. Okay, no worries. Let's go with it. So, and I'll just make app view the main component, and I don't think then I'll because create app is just empty here. So the assumption is that I don't need to do that because I'll have app here. I won't have an about page. And I wonder why they have create web hash history as the default one. That's really weird. View router, let's grab that. I see. So I can probably just do import create router from view router, and then just get rid of this here and this here, and here I can probably say create web history. And use that here. And get rid of this. .use router. And I believe that should be it. From what I can see. I don't remember if we can chain. I believe we can chain. That's easy to find out. App elements. This is app element, and this also returns app element, and this is probably something else. Okay, and now if I go here, component is missing template or render function at app. Is that because it's looking for at app? I don't know which app is it. Is it this app or is it like this app here? And it's just a component, so this should be fine. Do I need to restart again? I don't think so. I don't think that should be. And just a warn too. It's not like, hey, everything is, it's not like pants on fire. Let me get app in here, for example. And I mean, this is not ideal. Let me create another page. And load that. So why not? Let's create an about page like we had. And let's grab that from what about page from pages / about page. Just fixing my seating here so I'm in a better seating situation for my back. pages about page.view, which got created in here, so no problem. Let's move it back a level. And here we could just have a template that says about us with a lot of excitement. And if I did about here, nothing should happen because app is what gets loaded first. So I would have to put router view in my app. So I guess the assumption is that it belongs somewhere. And because this is not like the example here is not from SFCs, single file components, so it doesn't apply in the same way. So here I'll just put this in my app view, and move everything in app view into a different place. So that's fine. Just come down with router view here. Now I should see about us. When I'm here, I don't see it. And let's get, so let's mem, and let's call this pages slash home.view. Did not want to do that. MC. I wanted to copy it, not move, and I moved instead. Now I did copy it. So this, yeah. So home will be just that. That's it. And then app will get rid of everything. Right, we'll get rid of this. We'll get rid of all this. And this. And it'll just be this here. And now it continues to not work because we never defined something for this, but we did for about. Perfect. So let's go back into our main.ts and get home in here. Yeah. And this will probably be named into like something else maybe later. Okay, and because we moved the page, let's just fix this. And that works, and all this works. Fantastic. And now I should be able to use use route and use router to get the query information. So let's take a look at that. Let me look at composition API, and that will give me an idea. Yeah, that's fine. Route.query, so I just need to use the route. I don't need to use push here because we'll be using the link on it. So use route. And then use route here. Maybe we could just put this up top. Okay, and actually, you know, honestly, I don't think I even need to do this because if everything is, I might actually have to do this. Because I need to set these values to whatever this is when the page loads. So I do need to do this. Okay, so um, yeah, 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 yeah. So when I click on this, it should have like, page number 2. So this A here can be a router link. And I don't need this href, that'll become a 2. And this here is going to, actually this is previous next. I don't want to work on that first. I want to work on these first. So I want to work on the page numbers first. So now it's a router link, and I can define the 2, and I'll have something like uh, 2. I don't have to give it a name because I want to remain on the same component, but I can pass it query is whatever the query was. So I can do something like route.query and destructure that. And I want to add something different. So I want to say something like, I guess what happens if I give it a nested object? I don't think it will. I don't assume it will create a nice link here. So it just becomes object, which we don't want. We could probably do something like, page number. And I wonder how this will be accepted on the well, yeah, let's see. No, this is no good. This sucks. This sucks. But ideally I should be able to do objects here. But this is no good. So for now, I'll just say page. I might change up the thing here. So page is index. And for now, we'll just change the page. We won't change the value or numbers. And now when I click here, see page 2, page 3, page 4. This information is not changing because we haven't hooked it up. So when I click, I wonder how with script setup the component lifecycle works. And probably and whether I have to set up a watch on the router query in order to get these reloaded. Page equals 2. So let's take a look here. Let's see if there's a watch. And the way we do it is like this. So we watch certain params. I wonder if I can just do all params. Yeah, I should be able to do that, right? So I should be able to do something like this, which is whenever route.params changes, get me the params. And with the new params, I'm going to going to set them here with this maybe, or I'm thinking I can just pass them in here and maybe get the values from route.params. Well, okay, let's see what it feels like. Page. I would have thought I would have gotten autocomplete here, but guess not. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, because it doesn't it still not recognize tRPC? I think it does now. Is it because I'm using script setup? Like I should, this. Is it my vim config? Ugh. No, it doesn't want it. So it does go there. It does get me computed. Okay, so now it's loaded. There is something wrong with my vim config for sure. For sure. Okay. Now that's working. Page is working, and now it should give me some options. So size and number show up here. I'm not sure what these empties are. Let's just go with number and not size for now. And can this just be route.params. Page? And this is complaining because it expects a number, this and this. Is that why? Yeah, and it's saying, hey, you can't send me a string. So what we'll do is we'll make it a number, and we'll set a default to 1. We'll do this. And so I might not need to use these because I have these. Let's see. And then maybe all I need to do for now, I'll just console.log the params here just to make sure that this is working. And then all I need to do now is load. I don't need to. I mean, I guess I don't need to wait technically, but let's see, and let's get watch from here. Okay, that's working. This is not page 2, so it hasn't loaded page 2 by default. When I click on page 1, it remains. On page 2, I am getting, it is outputting something, but it doesn't seem to be, I'm getting, so I don't know what's outputted where. So I'll just add a params business here. And then here, my assumption would be because load is being called through here. Route.params should. Oh, it's not params. My bad. We need to be using route.query. And I do get confused with that often. Too often, unfortunately. Okay. Now, when we go back, it has loaded page 5, it seems. 4, 5, 6. Pagination for the most part seems to be okay. But and it ends at 6 because 7 doesn't work because because the page size by default of the server is 20. So it's actually giving us 20 back. It's not giving us 10 back. We go here now we have 20, and that works. So now we're paginating. We're live. And I feel like that's pretty cool to be able to paginate in this way. And now I think I do want to use page number here because it's a reactive value. And I don't want to do this number conversion everywhere I need to do it. So I'm going to say page number value is equal to number query.page or 1 up here. And that way I can get rid of that from here and just use page number value. Okay, and let's do something similar with page size. Page size is this. I'm just going to call it size for short in the query for now and make this 20 by default. Let's actually make this 10 by default and see what happens. And then I want to be able to pass both the page and the size through here. Size equals page size because that's not changing with every index. And here page number. Now this color should work as well because I'm changing page number from the server, and it doesn't. Oh yeah, now it does. Okay, so now you can see that page number 3, 6. If I refresh this, so it doesn't work on refresh because on the initial load this is not being set because watch is not being called on that initial load. So we could do something like, you notice like it's like really just setting the params and loading. Which is really what we want to do on start, right? So we should be calling. This should be above here. I don't have all the TypeScript rules because like it would have asked us to do this before calling it here. So theoretically, I can also do something like this. What do I want here? I'm wondering whether I can just do something like this, perhaps. And this can become route dot. And anytime the query changes, I can just load. And theoretically, that should handle it because I'm calling load on initial page. So now even though I set the page size to 20 here, it should be 10. It seems like it's not because I haven't passed it here. Size equals page size dot value. And now, no, I'm just, create out size, because size is already 20 here, that's why. So now because I can't just come back and refresh and not have things work. Now I'm getting page changing here. This changes here. If I refresh, this 4 color should remain. It does. Now I can get next and previous working because I know this is working, and I could do something like, if I did 1, this, just for testing purpose, if I did 1 here, I don't want this situation, right? I might not work on this today because it's already been a bit of time, so I might just get to that next time. So let's just get this working with maybe 15. That's great. Look at that. If this was taking longer to load, we could have this loader over here. That way, this doesn't disappear and pop in and out. There's no huge page jankiness. It's just this here that loads. If we had a loader here, yeah, let's get previous index to work. And I won't do, I won't do any checking. This does have different styles, so maybe I can just copy this, get that in there, and get the styles in here and not have to worry about what this is like. That, and all this is so really we don't have to pass in page size here. I'm realizing because it doesn't have to be part of every URL. Oops. It doesn't have to be part of every URL, but this should be page number -1. And on the bottom there, with our next, and I'm going to copy the classes because I do believe they're different. I'm going to do a +1. And I've done something. Well, clearly I've done something wrong. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. So it works. You know what? Like, why? What's the problem? It works. It even goes into the negatives. It works. Stop complaining. Okay, let's see what the problem is here. It's so funny. Likelihood, once I bring router link into the fold, there are things it doesn't expect. Maybe. This is fun. Okay, so let's take a look. I was careful to like copy classes and all that stuff. What a sham. Ah, it's this here. So in my silliness, I believe I just happened to paste an incorrect value in an inopportune space. So now this is good. It is bugging me that you can go below what you're supposed to go. I wonder if HTML has like a href disable. Okay. Remove the href attribute. I wonder what happens if I was to just remove this, for example. Come back here. Nothing is like. So I do need that, it seems. What if I remove everything here? That won't do it. Like, it's still, I think it's still functional. It is functional, right? All of, like, it's just going back to default. So view router disable link. Okay, so the method here is just convert it to a span. Uh, and not have it be, although these folks have different answers. So the default event is click, and you can disable that event. They're doing this. I don't want to do anything visual, like specifically. People seem to have very different answers to this in this. And this seems to be just solutions from. I like this. And I want to see if there's like a. I can search for is here. I wonder if they meant as, because advanced navigation guards run my data fetching, transition score behavior type routes. Programmatic navigation. That's probably the code, so it's not here. Name routes, name views. Redirect to alias, passing props. Components, different history modes. Dynamic run matching, API reference. That's what I want. This is what I want. Yes. Okay. Props are to replace active class custom. So there's no is on a router link. That's not. There is no is. You could do a slot. You could do a slot on a router link, and it will. Then you could do something like this. It'll give you the href and the route. I don't like this. I don't want to do this, but it should work. I mean, it's not that I don't like this. This is fine. I just don't want to do this because I feel like there should be a simpler way. But I fear that there is not. And I think that this might even be the recommended way of doing it. Hey, like, but you know what? There's nothing stopping me from trying that is business. Oh, so is just part of. I know like component is, but there's no example of like that being used. So did they mean like, oh, because this says here router link is router link. Can you do that? Is this, are these all extended from the component? Maybe. So it's just a Vue property. Maybe. Let's see. And if that works, that works. I'm not too irked about it. So let's see is, and I can say page number greater than 1, router link, otherwise span. Wonder if that's good enough. This doesn't like it because this is, the server side is like, hey, what are you doing? You're embarrassing us. Yeah, that doesn't seem like it changes. I'm not imagining that. It doesn't change. That's still a link. Um, okay, no problem. Router link is, they probably meant to make this component, you know, like I'm going to assume that's what they meant. So now when I come here, that does change into a span. Is that amazing? No, it is not. Does it work? Yes. Will I use it? Absolutely. I will. Okay, and now this will be if page number is greater than or equal to well, it is less than, right? So it's less than um, number of pages, then you're out of link. Otherwise, you're not. So let's start here, and yep, I like this. I'm not against it. Cool. Okay. I want to take a look here to see. You know, just in case I wanted to see whether they're like, oh, here are some Vue components that you can use, which would have been like, that would have been cool. I wonder if the pro version has that. Um, no, it doesn't seem like it. If I search for React, will I see it? React version, of course. When launched, so it's not there. Vue version, when launched. Free update when launched. So I guess they intend on coming up with something. All updates from roadmap included. Okay, cool. I'm happy with this so far. We have pagination working and functional. We could do more like showing x of x from this, but I think that's fine for now. This is good enough for me. Cool. Isn't it amazing how fast your app can be when it does like absolutely nothing? Like this is from a SQLite database right on this machine. Look how. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we got pagination working here, and we can imagine, you know, right now it's all like posts or whatever, but we can imagine passing an object to this component, something like a Zod object perhaps, and us being able to loop through the fields of that Zod object in order to determine what to display here, and in order to determine what goes in our crate. Because like here, for example, so this will then be inferred by the Zod object, but look at this, like we just passing in values straight up. This would have to change, so that might be a bit finicky with I mean, obviously, because this would be dynamic, we wouldn't retain our type checking here, but if we wanted to do something that wasn't dynamic, then we probably want to get into like page generation or whatever, or template generation, which is fine. We might do that on this side as well, but I just want to make this purely dynamic, so that these fields are dynamic and it's dynamic, and then maybe you could be like, hey, I don't want these fields, or we could pass in which exact fields we want to display on the table, right? Like ID and title should be good enough here. I don't want to display body, that kind of thing. But I'll probably do delete and edit before that. But we'll see. Okay, cool. I think that's good enough for today.